If the king is going to charge so much money for tickets to gawp around the galleries, then maybe Buckingham Palace, which has 775 rooms, including 19 staterooms, 52 royal and guest bedrooms, 188 staff bedrooms, 92 offices, 78 bathrooms, then surely the king could consider renting out some of those rooms on Airbnb, the online marketplace for lodging, which was founded in 2008. The criteria for renting an Airbnb room would involve accurate listings, accurate descriptions of the property. I'm sure they can be available and or certainly could be spiced up. Lauding the amenities, the house rules, the pricing, the security, high quality photos, which could be uploaded courtesy of, well, I don't know who takes all the photographs in Buckingham Palace these days, but I'm sure there's plenty of them. And it would be so lovely to be able to inspect each possible room that you could stay in, the Prince Andrew suite, the Ceausescu suite, where you could bring your own dog. And, guests would have to comply with local laws and regulations, which might mean zoning laws, business licenses, safety regulations, security concerns. And hosts would be able to verify the identity and the contact information of the intended guests, and the guests in turn could verify and observe the various criterion and the various photographs of the host and of the royal family. It may not just be the king who is the host, and maybe he will put on breakfast. Maybe he'll make breakfast himself. Maybe there'll be a duchy egg available, a Gloucestershire chicken, and I'm sure there would be insurance issues, as there would be security concerns. And because Buckingham Palace is a historic building with significant cultural and national heritage, a site of national importance, I'm sure there would be certain days which would be blocked, and there would be certain festivities which would be impossible to arrange in Buckingham Palace, and guests probably would not be able to bring back a friend. But I'm sure, given those restrictions, I think Airbnb would be a significantly better option than getting people wandering around at so many pounds a ticket, simply to gawp at the chinoiserie and marvel at the gilt that we paid so much tax to cover all the furniture. I think there's a lot to be said for the upkeep of the royal palaces, for the protection of the art, but I'm not entirely certain that opening the palace up to the public at such exorbitant prices is the right way forward, and I think it requires a certain amount of satirical mocking, and and so Airbnb, why not? If the king is so desperate for money, Airbnb. But I think the ticket should be a nominal price, and the government or the king should be raking it in on the souvenir front. But having a decent shop that sells souvenirs and having a range of souvenirs of merchandise is very difficult to arrange. I'm personally found it extraordinarily difficult to ensure that the merchandise that I have drawn and actually gets out. I drew my merchandise I drew my pictures about 4 months ago, and they still haven't hit the YouTube system, and it's slightly embarrassing. So I must apologise for that. I will try and do better, but I strongly recommend that the king takes a leaf out of the YouTube book and opts for merchandise and brochures. And I've got a wonderful brochure when Buckingham Palace was first marketed and tickets were first available to go and see Buckingham Palace. And I've got a wonderful brochure in Russian, and it's got lovely photographs in it, and that cost a pretty. In fact, I think the brochure costs slightly more than the ticket. Now it's the other way around, isn't it? It's just wrong paying so much. It's like the huge amount of money you pay for a West End for a seat in a West End musical. At least in a West End musical, you've got someone entertaining you. When you're walking around Buckingham Palace, all you're doing is it's just foot leather. You're entertaining yourself. We could do that at home.